Well, hello, everybody. My name is Taylor Hill. This is Carter Harkins.
Hey,
We are,
hey.
yay! We're here today and we're going to talk about the five biggest SEO myths and some other fun stuff you need to know about SEO. We're going to have some fun today. We got a lot of stuff to cover. But, as usual, before we do, because not everybody can get on just right at the top of the hour, we're going to do our intro. I have to say, it's like magic. We do our intro and there's zero, and then people are there. It's like, yay! Linda Roydhouse is in the house. Hey, Linda, how are
Hey,
you?
Linda.
Glad that you're here today. Thank you for the like. We appreciate that. And we've got a lot to cover today. So I am just going to take us from this subject matter and we are going to jump in. We have Mitchell Howe in the house. Hey, Mitchell, how are you? Number one. Here's the number one myth: traffic is everything. So let's talk a little bit about traffic. Now, the myth is not that traffic is not important. The myth is traffic is everything. It's the end all be all. That's the myth. It's not all about traffic. Traffic is important, but you got to have the right kind of traffic.
Yeah, and traffic is such a subjective thing, and it's definitely part of the equation, but it's not certainly not even probably in the top five things in terms of importance. There's so much more to consider. If you're in a small area, you're not going to get a whole lot of traffic for people looking for a local area service because there's not that many people in your local area. So, that's going to mean that your numbers are lower. So, what's more important than traffic? The right traffic, quality traffic, people who are in your area, who need what you have, who are predisposed to, pay you for that service and give you a call to get that scheduled. So that's the traffic you want, not just any eyeballs.
Yeah. So when somebody gives you a total traffic, they're including a lot of times traffic all over the world. And there's bot traffic. There's, if you don't take and kind of eliminate that stuff, the unwanted stuff, then it's a skewed number. And just want to say hello to Jerry and Renee. Thank you guys for showing up, giving us a thumbs up. That's fantastic. And then we're going to jump right into myth number two: being at the top of the page is all that matters. This is my favorite myth because well, let me go back. It used to not be a myth, okay? It used to be really, really important to be at the top of organic. And full transparency here, being at the top of organic, you still get about 52% of the clicks. So it's still important, but it's not all that matters. And the reason it's not all that matters is people find you all different ways these days. In the old days, Google, Yahoo, and Bing were basically it. You just had the search engines, and that's great. But when somebody says the only thing that matters in your business is to be at the very top of organic, that's just not true anymore.
So let me just, for some perspective here, because you just used the phrase "in the old days," which
Five
for
years ago,
yeah, right. So I was going to ask you, like, when do you mean when you say the old days? Like, it used to be. When was that? Like, are you saying for this particular myth, it
yeah.
was all that mattered 5 years ago, but since then it's ceased to be all that matters?
Well, I would say it was the biggest thing in search from about 1997 to, I would say, around 2008. And then it has systemically over time kind of been up at the top, and then it's just kind of dropped and dropped and dropped and dropped and dropped. And the reason that it's dropped is that there are so many different ways people find you. They find you through social media. They find you now on the maps. Google Maps used to not be there. They find you on ads. they find you in all different ways. There's so many different social networks out there, and they also find you sometimes on those little niche sites like Nextdoor that are in our neighborhoods. There's all different ways that people find you now. So just being at the top of the page. Here's the other thing, and we'll get into this on when we get into kind of our bonus material today. The other thing that happens is when you're at the top of the page with Google, it means that somebody is doing a specific keyword search. So if the keyword search is not a really important keyword, if there's not a lot of traffic for that keyword, doesn't matter if you're at the top of the page. Nobody's seeing you anyway.
That's right.
But it's just one of those things. So you got to be real careful about being at that organic number one. It's got to be the right keyword, and it's not everything. Myth number 3: let me, the SEO company, show you the statistics that matter. In other words, let me drive your business.
Right.
I love this. And what's really sad about this is how many business owners actually let the marketing company make those determinations. Drives me bananas.
So some of it is I mean, and not to steal your thunder here if you're about to head this direction, but I want to lay down the groundwork for a big caveat here, because marketing companies only have so much information about the job that they do for their clients. And after a point, the client has to have all the rest of that knowledge about the statistics and the data and everything else to match up with what the marketing company has done to decide whether or not it's been effective, right? So without that matchup, without that communication between the marketing company and the client about the results that have been gotten during any period of time, it's very difficult for a marketing company to know whether or not they've delivered success the way that the client would see what success really is. And so in the absence of that, the tendency, and this is true for any company, for any individual, when we can't measure the real thing we want to measure, we start measuring all the things that we can measure and decide that that's the most important thing. So it's a myopic problem, right? Like we're only focused on this one thing because that's all we can see. We can't see the bigger picture. And so as marketing companies, we sometimes perpetuate, I say we, other marketing companies sometimes perpetuate that myth that, I know the stats that matter and these are the things you should focus on. When really, as a business owner, those stats only are important if they led to real conversions and real things that matter to you in terms of increased business.
So a good example of this is if a marketing company says, and I'm going to go back to the traffic, the number one myth here. If a marketing company says, hey, here's what you need to pay attention to. All you need to know is X amount of traffic per day is coming to your site, and that's really good for a local business. So how much is that? Well, anything over 30 and above is pretty much the standard. So, we have some clients that are in big areas that get 600 in total traffic. But here's the deal. If they're not communicating with us and letting us know that traffic is actually turning into work, then all of a sudden we don't know if that's the right traffic or not, and we can't make the tweaks that we need to do on our end. So it does take both parties to do this, but the company itself should be driving. They should say, okay, I want to know local traffic. What is my local traffic numbers? In other words, I just want to know the traffic of the people that I can actually do business with. That would be one of the statistics that I would do as a local business. So what's something else? It's like, all right, so click-through rate. What is that for? Is that click-through rate to the form? Because I'm not seeing the forms. If you know the number of forms that you're getting, and there's a way that you track those clicks on the back of analytics, and every SEO company should be having some kind of an analytic way to track all these things. So, I'm not seeing the amount of forms that you're telling us coming through. So does that mean that some of your forms are getting junk mail? You know, what's the disconnect here? These are all the different things that you've got to look at. You know, somebody may say, hey, you know, Mr. Company Owner, let me just tell you, I mean, you're getting so many people to your website. It is really, really great. And this one page over here is doing a fantastic job. And you get all excited because you got a page that, you know, a blog post or something. I've seen this happen. A blog post that's really, really doing well. And you're like, great, there's a blog post. But as a business owner, you don't go back and check the post. And then when you finally do, it's something that's doesn't really have anything to do with your business, and there's not one link on there going back to your actual main page. So these are the types of things that SEO companies tend to do. They'll write a clickbait blog post that has nothing to do with your business, or is very tangential. What is that word?
Tangential.
Yes, thank you. To your business, so it's kind of there, but then they don't bring anything back that make a really big difference. By the way, thank you, Kathy Ray. I appreciate the like. That was fantastic. To Christian Rodriguez, he just said, do a search on mobile. Number one, organic is now usually several scrolls down the page below ad maps and featured snippets sometimes. So that'll just tell you organically on desktop is one thing. You get on mobile and you got to scroll really far down to do that. Thanks, Christian. I appreciate that. So what is, let me see, myth number 4. You can rank in a day. Oh my goodness. Guys, if anybody ever tells you that, wrong. A lot of times the people that are telling you that, what they're doing is they're actually creating a map listing for you and telling you they can get you ranked in a day, because they can, a lot of times it's in areas where there may be 1-2 people showing up on map listings, and these people go through those areas and they just call and or email people and say, yeah, we can get you ranked on Google in a day. Woo, that's fast.
Well, and you know, they'll even show like examples. I mean, you can, you know, they'll send you a link to a video and you can watch this SEO guru, this, you know, ninja who's gonna, you know, stick in a company and watch and show you in real time how they're going to show up in number 1, or, you know, at least on the front page of Google, just with their one little effort. But there's so much sleight of hand in those videos and in those tactics. There's so many things that are being done to make you think it's impressive because you don't know enough to know that it's really not, that it's just a trick, and that actually if you were to hire this company to do exactly what this guy just did for you, it's going to blow your company up online. And I mean, not in a good way. It's going to, you know, do more harm than good. So you know, it's just like if somebody said you can lose all the weight you need to lose in a day. You know, I mean, there's so many factors, right? But I mean, there's so many factors in terms of like knowing whether or not that's even a realistic statement. I mean, if all you needed to lose was a quarter pound, well, okay, maybe then that's a possibility. But you know, most people are not, you know, that's not all they need to lose. And there's a lot of other questions about, you know, how we're going to get this done and whether it's going to be done in a healthy way. And, you know, so to think that ranking in a day is a possibility, just be careful of that. I mean, if a good rule of thumb, and it's true in anything in life, if it sounds too good to be true, it is.
Yeah, most likely. And this next one also falls into ranking a day. And that is when somebody tells you that pay-per-click, Google AdWords, Google Ads, is SEO. It is not. So I'm going to take a minute and explain the difference. SEO is when you have written content that's on a website. Search engine optimization points to websites. You have a searcher over here that puts a keyword in. Those two things come together and that keyword shows up your website. That is traditional SEO. What pay-per-click advertising, it's called SEM, which is search engine marketing. it's all the ads that you see everywhere. It's AdSense, it's AdWords, it's local ads, any of the ads that you see that pop up when you're doing searches or whatever, that's not pointing to a source medium on a website, that is all search engine marketing. Okay. There really is a difference between SEO and SEM. So SEM is fine. Nothing wrong with using AdWords or AdSense or any of those things, but know the difference. And I highly recommend AdWords, especially in areas that you can't rank, or if you're really new in the business and you haven't really got a very established SEO campaign going, and you're new and everything is going. Using SEM and AdWords is a great thing to do. It's also great if you're established and you're wanting to widen your area a little bit and go out a little bit further to hit those other areas that are out there. Or if there's just areas because of your particular location around maps, and you just want to have a little bit more juice in some other areas around you, and your actual location is just too far away to actually come up on maps, then AdWords is a great play for that as well. So, very definitely good. There's nothing wrong with SEM. It's just not SEO.
So Terry just asked a great question in the comments there, if you want to put it up on the screen.
Sure. Well, hold on. There we go.
So will SEM help to improve SEO?
So it depends on how it's done. Okay. Anytime that you pull traffic over into your website, that helps your SEO, because the SEO is traffic based in a lot of ways. And that is a signal. It's one signal. It's not the, be in and be all signal of SEO. It's one signal. So if you're doing ads correctly, however, especially on AdWords and local ads, AdSense is a whole different other thing. Let me just tell you, the way you really want to do that is have very specific landing pages for the ad. It's really, really important to have those specific landing pages for those ads. And those landing pages on their own are no follow. So Google sees the traffic on there, but they don't give you a lot of juice for it, because it's a way that you kind of stop any other traffic coming on there. And you want to do that because you want to track all that traffic coming from that ad to that specific landing page. So there's reasons you want to do that. I will tell you what we find that really does improve SEO is traffic brought over from social. So it's a definite maybe. I like it. Thank you. Thank you, Lou.
I think Lou has pretty much in 4 words summed up our entire livelihood in digital marketing. Is a definite maybe.
That's so true. That is so true. But that's a great question. But we do see social numbers actually creating a lot of good play for SEO in traffic. So I will say that. So we're going, and this is based on an article. I'm going to source the article later on. I wish I could say that I was this clever, but I ran across this article and said, with this topic we're having today, even if we go a little over, I think this is worth it. It really is about scams. And we get forwarded so many of these. And we're like, nope, don't do this. Nope, don't do this. Nope, don't do that. So it really is, every business owner that's on the internet needs to know about these particular scams. So here we go. There's 10 of them. Number 1, purchasing links from high domain authority websites. Believe it or not, these websites advertise that you purchase links. So if you get a link from them, Google knows that you just bought a link, and they're not worth anything. So don't do link buying, period. Just don't do it.
Taylor, real quick,
Yes.
I feel like I know the answer to this question, but I've forgotten what I know. So if you purchase links, are they not only like a net zero in terms of just not worth anything, but could they actually hurt you?
If you purchase too many of them, you can what they call be sandboxed. So basically, Google takes your website and puts it back to the end of the line on search. But you have to do a lot of those. Yeah, I mean, you got to be in a link wheel, and and it happens. But if that's what you rely on, you want to stop doing that. So you too can have this link for free. So what happens? For a fee, yeah. So what happens is somebody will buy a website, and that website will have X amount of links to it. And so they will contact through email all the companies that do the same thing as that website and offer to transfer those links for a fee. So it's like, no, that's like link buying. So yeah, we don't want to do that either. That's not good. Big one. We get this all the time. Oh, let me just write a guest post for you, on your website. And I'll give you a link and you can give me a link and everything will be copacetic and it would be awesome. And we'll just sing kumbaya and life is good. Well, and it sounds really great because you're getting a backlink. The reality to this is you're really not getting you're not getting a backlink. Normally what happens is they don't ever even link back to your site. It is one of the biggest scams. And unfortunately, every once in a while, there are writers that reach out that are trying to build their portfolios, that want to do it right. But it's just this particular one, we probably get one of these a week from a client, sending us this one that says, please, do we need to do this? Should we do this? Or can you just get with them and tell them yes? And we have to go, no, we're not going to do that. So, this is a big deal. And unfortunately, it's one of those things that's happened so much. If there are legitimate people out there doing it, you got to do research and whatever. It's just not worth the time to do that with the link that you're gonna do. Here's another one. We're going to guarantee to get you to the top spot. That's like you going out and saying, we're going to guarantee that nothing we ever do is going to be messed up. I mean, yeah, you can't guarantee. Number one, I will never guarantee something I don't control. Would you?
Never.
Never. So the only person that controls Google is Google. Right. So if Google's the only one that controls it, how can anybody else guarantee anything? It's not going to happen.
Not only does Google control it, but Google doesn't tell anybody what the algorithms are to get to the top. Like, all we know is that for any given search, this is the first top organic search result, but we have very little information when all is said and done with regard to like exactly how the determination was made that was the site that needed to be delivered at the top of the first page. We have insights, but we don't know for sure. And so how can you make a guarantee when you don't know what the formula is?
It's kind of like probably 5-6 years ago, they said you need to have a website that also, rejiggers itself on mobile and what's it called? I think it's called responsive design. You need to have that. And so we're going to give you 18 months, which was pushed to 2 years, to make sure that everybody gets this design. And now, if you don't have a responsive design, you just don't look good on Google. And so Google's not gonna show you all the time, unless you're one little, company in the middle of nowhere, they'll show you, but they're not going to show you. It's the same with the core web. What is it?
Core Web Vitals.
Core Web Vitals that they just did. They gave us 18 months to figure that out. And just go into those kind of things. So Google tells you some of the things that they need you to do, and they know that it's going to take you a little bit to figure it out and let you do that. But yeah, they don't say this. So, Terry, I can't tell you how often they change the search parameters, but I can tell you they have said somewhere between 375 and 500 a year. That's what they do.
So
But
more
they're
than
not,
once a day.
yeah. So it's not huge changes mostly. The huge changes, like I just told you about, like Core Web Vitals, responsive design, they give you some warning, but they are always tweaking these doggone things. I mean, it's just kind of crazy how many changes and tweaks they made. And this is why the SEO community, if you ever follow the SEO community, it's the more, oh my God, oh, what happened? What's happening? Because overnight, and you'll get these alerts that go off and just say, everybody needs to check their search because we had this huge change and nobody knew about it and everybody's taking, And so you go and it's amazing what happens is 9 times out of 10, and we've just seen this over the years. Yeah, you may drop, but if you're just calm and just stay the course, steady as you go, it's amazing what comes back up. I think Google does this in order to scare the crap out of everybody. And so the ones that are over trying to do all the finagling and whatever and figure it out, they kind of don't ever come back. But if you just stay the course and know that you've done the right things and follow the guidelines and whatever, you just tend to, come on back up. But it is kind of
It's yeah, the SEO community is full of a bunch of chicken littles, and the sky is falling, and oh my gosh, I can't imagine how most SEO professionals, especially when they do e-commerce and things like that, where there's so much volatility with regards to ranking. I mean, I don't know how any of them sleep without a serious amount of help. I mean, if Google hasn't made me question my life choices at least once before lunch, then, I'm really wondering if I'm doing it right.
Yeah, and I'll most of you guys don't know this, but I spend an hour to hour and a half every single morning going through SEO, AdWords, analytics, Facebook, TikTok, Twitter, and Instagram articles, and going through and sourcing that to be able to get the newest stuff and what's changing and what's coming up to the team so that they don't have to go through all that stuff. All they have to do is read it. So it's crazy. Sometimes it's, I do that and it's 2 articles, and there are days it's 15 articles. So it's really crazy. But yeah, guarantees, there's no guarantee. Here's another one. We're going to get you on every search engine out there. All right, so let me let you in a secret. There are really only 3 main search engines, and they find you. They find you. All the other search engines that are out there that are listed as search engines, they are, but all of them pull their data from 3 search engines. Okay? What are those search engines? Google, Bing. You know the other one, Carter?
Shoot, what's it called? It's the one that doesn't track you.
That's right? Actually not true.
No,
it's Yahoo. Still.
Yes.
Wow.
Not
very many people search on Yahoo, so I don't know why it's still there, but yeah, it's the original 3. The one you're talking about is dog something. I can't remember it. What it is. God, I should know it, but I can't think of it right now. So if any of my staff's on here and remember it, put it in the comments.
DuckDuckGo, that's the one.
DuckDuckGo, not dog. Yeah, DuckDuckGo. That's
Thanks,
it.
Terry.
Yeah, DuckDuckGo. If you don't want to be tracked, that's where you want to do all your searching. DuckDuckGo. Everybody's like, DuckDuckGo, Taylor. Yes, thank you guys. I appreciate that. Y'all keep me in line. Let's see. I'm going. I think that's where. So DuckDuckGo actually pulls their information from Google, and that's where the vast majority.
Dogpile. That was the one Renee just mentioned.
Yeah.
That's the one that aggregates a lot of different search results all in one engine.
Yeah. So there's a lot of different things out there, but the reality is the search engine will find you in time. If you work with a company, when you do a website and a brand new site, we go on to what's called the Search Console. It's Google Search Console. And there's a button there that says, hey, can you index us? And it kind of is just a flag that says, hey, we're out here. We're new. Can you pick us up sooner as to later? But the reality is, if Google picks you up, it's not very long. The other two are going to get you. So you
Yep.
don't have to pay for that service. Don't pay for that. Y'all, a lot of y'all know this one. There's Google calls you, letting you know your listing has expired. This is normally in map listing. Oh, your map listing has expired. Life is over. I cannot tell you how many people have called in a panic that they've lost their map listing. And the first thing I ask them is, have you got online and looked to see if it's really lost? Oh, no. Well, let's look. So you look online. It's like, no, it's right there. It's claimed. You own it. Everything's good. Don't have to worry. The only time that Google actually calls you is if they want to verify information. And the only time they verify information is if they see a problem with a map listing, or if you've got a problem with a map listing that got taken down, maybe you've sent them your paperwork, those kind of things. But Google just doesn't randomly call and say, oh, I'm really sorry. I was looking there in Nashville, Tennessee, and going through all the listings for marketing companies, and just wanted to let you know yours is just not there. We don't have anything else to do. We're Google, so we're just scanning the listings. So and I'm not making fun of y'all. I'm just, we got to think through these things. They've got a lot more other things to do than to scan listings and to call you and let you know yours is gone. They really don't care. They just don't care. And unfortunately, it would be great if they cared. But
and just another hint, pressing 4 will not take you off of their call list. It just doesn't work.
That is true. Yes, Jerry, I remember when Yahoo was king. I am that old. Let's see here what Christian's got something good here. Sorry. I'll get back to you, Jeremy. Saw a scam recently where debt collection company was asking a Google Ads client to pay their ads balance.
Oh, wow.
Wow. That's interesting. And that was a scam. So if you're running ads and anybody calls, don't do it. Don't believe it. Jeremy said, we've got 2 locations. One got suspended by Google because they thought it was a duplicate. Only time they ever called me. There you go. It was a suspension. And that's right. They're going to verify information. They're going to ask you for additional information. They may ask you to send them a billing that has your legitimate address on it. There's all different things that they might do. But they're only going to call you to verify things. That's it. That's when they call. So let's see what else I've got down here. Oh, yeah, I like this one. We're a Google partner. Hire us for your SEO. Now, this is a little misleading. Even Carter was like, but Taylor, we're Google partners.
Yeah. I mean, I was doing 2 things at once, and I read that headline. I was like, well, that's not necessarily a scam. I mean, we're a Google partner.
Yeah. It's like, absolutely, we're Google partners. But Google only offers Google partners in 2 places: in ads and analytics. And we're Google partners in both, which means that we have people that have gone through the training and they're certified by Google to know what the heck they're doing. But guess what? Google has no certification, no partner, no anything for search engine optimization. It doesn't matter if they're Google partners when it comes to SEO, period. No such thing. Your website is not ranking for X keyword. You get these emails? Any of you guys get those emails? I've been looking into your website, and your website just doesn't, rank for this keyword over here. And I'm just going to bring one. It doesn't. You're not ranking for roof crickets. You're just not ranking for crickets. And I'm pretty sure you should be ranking for crickets. And you go, oh my gosh, I build crickets all the time. I'm not ranking for that word. It's terrible. Oh, I got to talk to my company and find out why. No, you don't need to do that. We can get you ranking for crickets. Well, I can tell you, I could probably get you ranking in about a week for crickets. because nobody's searching for crickets. Nobody cares about roof crickets. Okay, nobody even knows what they are. Seriously,
When it
they
comes
don't
to
know.
crickets, it's crickets.
It's a cricket. Yeah. So you got to be careful with this. When somebody gets in touch with you and says that you're not ranking for a certain keyword. Now, the other thing they'll do is when you're ranking number one for a keyword, and they'll tell you, oh no, I'm not finding you. And then you get online and you look it up and they go, oh no, that's your personal search. You're not ranking for that keyword. You need to stop, go, outside, go somewhere, ask your friends, anybody else around you to put that keyword in and double check that. Personal search is not near as big as it used to be. I used to talk about it all the time. It's one of those things that are fading as well. So it really doesn't matter that much. Check and make sure that you're ranking for the keywords that you want to rank. So here's Christian. They had he said on that scam they had the Google's ad CID number too. Checked with Google Ad Support and they verified it was a scam.
Wow.
Wow.
So they were phishing. They were looking for somebody to say, well, we can take your credit card over the phone. Just go, we'll let you pay it right now. Just give us that.
Yeah.
Dang.
That's crazy because really what Google wants you to do is change that credit card in the back of the system and it'll automatically run. So this is the same advice as a financial advisor. I used to tell people all the time, never, ever, ever give your credit card to anybody that calls you. If you call and make a purchase, yeah, that's fine. But if somebody calls you, no, don't give them a credit card. And just another deal, never, ever, ever use a debit card for anything. Just put it on a credit card. Debit cards like cash, it's hard to get that back. Credit cards, you can stop. So here's another one.
Bonuses.
Yeah, another bonus. That's it. So, good grief. Here we go. I'm all over the place today. Terry, I get the Google partner phone call 10 times a week. That's true. It's crazy. Some areas are better than others.
We do a lot of phone tracking for clients too, phone call tracking, and we see it like, every one of our clients that we track for, we see those calls come in as recorded messages, sometimes 10 times a day.
It's nuts. It's nuts. So Christian also do a search in a private window or incognito mode in Google Chrome to eliminate personalized search. So just another little tip there. What's Jerry got to say? Christian, please explain how to do an incognito search, please. I tell you what, Christian, are you somewhere that you can get on? You can get on with us? Let me do this real quick, guys. Just bear with me for just a second. Christian's got some great, great stuff. So, Christian, I just sent you an invite. Come on in here so you can get on and talk about this. So I just sent that to him. So while we're waiting on him, we'll come back to that in just a second while he's getting on. And I'm going to go over here and we're going to go to the next one. Just got a couple more. Let me show you what I rank for as proof that I know what I'm doing. All right, this is a marketing company that does SEO, and they go rank themselves for some wacky keyword as proof that you can rank. A keyword is one of those things that is really, really important when you're searching, but it's not there are a lot of keywords out there nobody ever looks for. I mean, like I just said, the cricket, if they're showing you they rank number one on, roof crickets, that's great. But if there's nobody searching for roof crickets, who cares? So you got to be real careful about, what people are trying to persuade you with. It's got to be viable to your business. Okay.
Just because somebody shows you a picture of them standing next to Arnold Schwarzenegger with a big smile and a big old handshake does not mean that they're best friends with Arnold Schwarzenegger, no matter how many times they tell you that.
Well, and I'll just go one step further. If I put a brush and a drill, and I stand by a fireplace and take a picture and say, I'm a chimney sweep.
Yeah.
It's the
That's
same
part of
thing.
the reason, honestly, if we're being honest, that's one of the reasons that third-party consumer reviews are such a big deal, is because nobody believes what the business has to say about the business. They want to know what the customers have to say. And so a business can say anything they want to say about themselves. Hey, I know that guy.
I know that guy too. So you want to tell us about an incognito window, where that is? You can share your screen and just take over.
Awesome. Yeah. So, hey, y'all, thanks for bringing me on. I was tuning in and providing some feedback where I thought I could help. Yeah, so incognito mode, that's a feature of Google Chrome that you can access, but most browsers, no matter what you use, are going to have a similar type of mode. What that does, it really removes any kind of browser history or any cookies that you have. So it's really going to be a really clean search. So let me see if I can share my screen here. Let's see. And see, it may not have. Okay. Let's see. Okay, so my browser is going to be a little bit different here. I'm actually not on Google Chrome at the moment, but it works just similarly. So let
You see
me.
the share button?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So most browsers are going to have a menu up here. This browser that I'm on is called Brave, but Google Chrome.
So we're not seeing the browser.
Oh, you're not seeing the browser?
We're not seeing it.
What's it showing right now?
Showing you and me. So let me see what happens. There we go. Hold on. Here we go. There's where I wanted it. All right.
Okay. So yeah, so this is a browser called Brave, but in Chrome, it's going to look very similar. Up in the top right, you're going to see a menu. In Chrome, it just looks like 3 little dots going down vertically. If you click on that, you're going to see new incognito mode. In this case, it's new private window mode. And once you open that up, then you can go on and do your search as you normally would. But again, this eliminates any sort of cookies that you may have on from previous searches or any browser history. So you're doing a clean search right there.
All right. Fantastic. why don't you just stay here, because you just never know when you're going to say something profound.
Sure thing.
So also over here in the comments, Renee put this: right click on the Chrome icon on the taskbar, choose incognito window. That's one easy way. So that's pretty much the same thing. So that
Mobile is pretty much the same thing as well. There's the 3 little dots at the bottom of Google Chrome browser for iOS. You just hit it, and then you can choose to open up a new incognito tab right from there.
So that's how you do that. So we got one more thing here, and that is this: I can do what they are doing better, and more importantly, I can do it cheaper. Well, you know what? I'm telling you, I've told people before, if you want to hire somebody's cousin in a basement, yeah, maybe they can do it cheaper, but I guarantee you they can't do it. They can't do everything we do better. They may do 1 or 2 things we do as good as better, but they can't do everything we do as better, because you can't have a team of, 15, 20, 25 people that are specialized in doing their thing and keeping up on it on a daily basis and reading about it and studying it and getting the certifications and doing all the stuff. If it's one person, it's too much. And I know this personally because when we had 60 clients and I was the account owner and the person that ran the AdWords and the person that answered every question on social, I didn't get any sleep. And I said, if I keep doing this, I'm going to die. It just doesn't work that way. You got to have people that are experts at what they do. And so, yeah, if it's all about being cheap, go be cheap. I'm fine with that. You know, we're not going to be your company for you, but we're not the company for everybody. I don't have any problem with that. But understand, if one person tells you, or even two people tell you they could do everything that a company's that's got specialists doing, more importantly and cheaper, yeah, it just doesn't work that way. And I'm not even the person that said this. This came from this article from searchenginejournal.com/top SEO scams. So you can go read all about these 5. It will be fantastic. So, Christian, you used to be an account owner. You now do the ads. What else do you see? Is there any other scam that you've seen that has not been covered by these 10?
Oh gosh, I mean, I think those kind of cover it really well. What I will say is, yeah, I think the number one that we see is like the guarantees getting you in the top spot. Those can be manipulated in such a way that even after they don't deliver on that promise, people can say, well, this is what we really meant, and we did get you X, Y, and Z. So it's being really careful about if someone is making a guarantee, really having them explain what it is that they're going to do, and how they're going to do it as well. I think that's the biggest thing, is knowing upfront what the expectation is, what the result is going to be, because you can, talk your way into, oh, well, we delivered this, and maybe it wasn't what you're expecting, but we did say we were going to get you number one, and then they just put you in a Google ad and got you the top spot. So just making sure you understand what someone is going to deliver, and making sure they're doing it the right way. That's ultimately what it comes down to. But scams, I mean, oh man, there's
a bunch of them.
There's a bunch of them. That one that I mentioned on Google Ads, that's just one that we just saw. Oh gosh, I believe it was earlier this week. I'd never seen that one before. The one claiming to be a debt collection company. Like I said, they even had the right CID, which freaked me out a little bit, because I'm like, how,
it's not published information.
It's not easily accessible information, right? So I, just did my due diligence and verified with Google Ad support, and they're like, yeah, no, it's, this isn't anything to do with us, and they sort of confirmed that with me. But more and more it gets a little fishy. There's one that we've also seen before, where people claiming that you're using their photographs and they're going to sue you and pay them up front, this or that. That's one where, again, you want to make sure you're doing your due diligence, check with whomever is building your website, and see where they're sourcing your images. If it's just your own images that you've been using the entire time, chances are you're fine, but you want to make sure you're double checking. But that's another one where they try to scare you into just, paying a small fee and they'll let it go, or sometimes it's not so small, but you think it could be much worse. And I think you always want to pause, call the people you need to call, verify the information before you make any sort of payout. That's what they're hoping. They're hoping is you're going to panic, pay off, and it's going to be resolved when, that's what they're hoping.
Yeah, I think that's really true. Thanks, Christian. Appreciate that. I'm going to remove you now, and we're going to move on. All right.
Alrighty.
All
See you,
right.
man.
Thanks for
See
coming
y'all.
through. So here's the bottom line, guys. The reason that we went through this was really, it doesn't matter who you work with. It doesn't matter where you are, how big you are, how small you are. What really makes the difference here is this. You need to have this information so you don't get the wool pulled over your eyes by anybody, So that's it. Ray Long, Mr. Long, thank you very much. I appreciate the like. I also want to let everybody know that Spark Live can now be found in the following places. We are on Audible, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts. And that's a really good thing. And next week, we're going to be talking about newest additions to Google My Business. That should be a fun little deal. There are some new things that have come down the pike, and we're going to be talking about that and things that if you've not utilized before might be something to do. Terry, thank you very much for the like. Hey guys, we appreciate you guys showing up every week. Thank you so much. This one went a little long, but I think it's good information. And I hope you guys have a great week. So until next Thursday, we'll see you.
Bye, everyone.